Good day, fellow champions of inclusion. I am Aaron, and this is the Inclusive Dad podcast, where we explore inclusion and make it practical. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to join me in exploring ways we can create a more inclusive world together. You are important, you matter, and you can make a difference. Today, my guest is Coach Yana. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Why don't you just start us off by just telling us a little bit about yourself?
Again, I am Coach Yana, and so I'm a children's confidence coach, and I use gaming as a way to build public speaking, social skills, confidence, and just array of different skills in children of different backgrounds. I have some children that are on the spectrum. I have children that are from different countries, children that look different, like literally anything you can think of, but we create a safe virtual space for children to grow, game together, develop confidence, have fun, and develop and practice those skills that are necessary for them to thrive in the real world and as an adult. So that's a little bit about me.
Yeah, that's great. When you say gaming, what do you mean by gaming? Like video
Yeah,
games?
so Yeah, exactly. Part of the ecosystem I've created, and like the main thing is really virtual gaming clubs where we typically play Roblox or Minecraft. And the children love Roblox, and I find it's a great way to connect with them. It gives them opportunity to play, but also it gives me as a coach and like parents and guardians as caregivers, it gives us as an opportunity to pour confidence in them and also help them practice social skills and things like that.
That's cool. What is your definition of inclusion?
Good question. My definition of inclusion is a place or just in general where everyone feels seen, safe, heard, and so they feel like they belong. Like if you go somewhere and it instantly feels like a home to you, even though you may have never been there, or being able to connect with someone in some way, even if you guys are different, if you don't come from the same place, still finding commonalities and way to still have community conversations and connections. So to me, again, inclusion is giving everyone, no matter who they are, no matter what they are, how they look, or their choices or whatever, giving them the space to feel seen, safe, heard, and welcome.
Yeah, that's a great definition. How about yourself?
Thanks.
Have you always been included?
Say, like, it's kind of weird because I would say yes and no. Because I'm naturally a talker, and so I can be included in any situation because I like to talk and also I like to listen to people. But I wouldn't say like I would say that's a skill that I learned because I when I was younger, to be included, I would sometimes change who I was to fit in. So I was always able to quote unquote be included because I could fit in, but it doesn't mean that I was actually included because of who I was. It was because I was able to adjust and be like, okay, well, since I'm cheering, I'll be the cheerleader version of myself. Or since I'm, in the like the honors club, I'll be that version. But I never felt fully included enough. Not never, but it's a rare where I remember feeling just included, just being Yana, like not Yana the cheerleader, or Yana the
Mm,
this thing, or Yana the that thing, or Yana the academic. It was like, where could I just be Yana the me, Yana the kid who was just loud and talkative and friendly and sometimes too gullible. Like where was that? Where was space for that? And seemed like growing up there was always, and don't I don't want anyone to misunderstand when I say this, but there was always like a certain thing you had to be. Like if you were on the cheer squad, you had to kind of be this particular way. Or if you were an artist, you had to kind of be this particular way. So I would kind of meld so that I could exist in those spaces. But sometimes I always felt like there was a part that just like I didn't fit all the way in. So I was like a circle in a room of squares. So like you can fit as a circle, you can fit in a square's thing, but you don't actually belong there. So I um wanted to create a space where it doesn't matter what type of shape you are because you're not even here to fit in. Like there's no mold in my clubs for you to fit. You just come as you are. And if whether you're a star, a triangle, a cube, or a dust cloud roaming through the wind, I don't know. But whatever you are is fine. And that's what I sought out to create. I'm not sure if I answered the question, but I just
Yeah.
felt like saying that.
No, yeah, you did for sure. I mean, that makes
Okay.
sense. I mean, I remember growing up. I mean, the thing that comes to mind is where I mean, I was acting differently. I don't know if this is a super good example, but I always remember going to church when my parents and my brother and sister, and we'd be like arguing in the car, and then you get to church and be like, "Oh, hey, how's it going today? We're having a great day."
Right.
Seconds before, you're just like yelling at each other, getting ready and getting to church, and then you get there like, "Hey!" And so, I mean, it's probably not exactly the same, but it's those moments as a child you look back as like that doesn't make any sense. Why are we pretending to be all happy and minutes
Yes.
before we're yelling at each other, we don't process it and then just pretend we're something else.
Mm,
So yeah, it's
agreed.
interesting. So or how did you get into this? I mean, what path led you from, childhood into creating these spaces for kids and stuff?
Yeah, so I'm the eldest daughter, so I'm like a big sister for obviously. And I took that role like very seriously because growing up, like I had a really great childhood, don't get me wrong, and though there were still gaps of like emotional intelligence and gaps of like emotional processing, like you mentioned. It doesn't mean that it was like a horrible existence, and though there were still gaps that my parents and the guardians that were raising me could not fill in terms of like, well, why do you feel the way that you feel? No one was able to really help me process those big emotions. So sometimes I would just be like angry or I would have like a big reaction to something that was unwarranted. And that was because like emotional processing wasn't a part of my experience growing up. It was like, you feel this way, you react to it, and then just move on like it didn't happen. And then they used to say I like held grudges, but for me it was like I can't just keep acting like stuff isn't happening and be fine. Like that wasn't working for me in my system. And so I always believed growing up like you have to be for someone who you wish you had. And for me, I wish that I had a big sister that would like be a mediator or someone to like say, hey, look, like this thing was messed up, but the way you reacted to it, still Yana, little Yana, was not okay. So yeah, you had a right to feel upset, but the way you handled it was inappropriate. And so I needed that. And I also needed someone who, or wanted someone who was just like on my level. Like, when you have a child, there's an age gap there as well. So the reality that you grew up in and the reality that your child grows up in is very different. So I wanted someone who was closer in age to me that I felt like understood more about what I was saying. And so they could articulate it better too, because children are not able to articulate what is actually happening. So a child will like act out, and the reason why they're acting out has absolutely nothing to do with why you think they're acting out. So it, I just needed someone who could be like a translator for me. Like, okay, this is what the adult is saying, but this is why they're saying it. This is what they mean by it. Like a communication bridge, because how thankfully also though, like thankfully how my parents grew up is not how they raised me. So they protected and they did different things, and though there were still gaps. And so now that we're in a society where it's okay to talk about mental health, it's okay to talk about like, hey, I'm not okay, and like this thing that happened was not okay. Now there's opportunity to have those conversations. So all that to say, I wanted to be the person that I wish I had, but on a grand scale for children so they could have access in all these different spaces. And also, this is my other part I'll say. I firmly believe that there is a war on innocence with children right now. And um, when you see something, you're supposed to say something, but also you're supposed to do something too. So I wanted to create an ecosystem that also helped to protect children and their innocence, because once an innocence of a child is gone, you cannot get that back. Like you can help them heal, you can help them grow, but you cannot get that back. And it's more than just the big traumas that obviously steal innocence. It's those day to day when you shoo your child away because you had a stressful moment and like your boss was mean to you. And so you chip away at your child's innocence little by little. And before you know it, you've taken this boulder and you've chipped it down to this little teeny sculpture. And then when they get into the real world, you wonder why they don't have boundaries. You wonder why they allow people to mistreat them. You wonder why their relationships are toxic because their whole life you chipped away at their innocence. And it's like people don't even realize because you're in the go mode. You're in go go go. So I also want to be a voice because I since I see the children all the time and I was a child and I see other children, I'm paying attention and I'm very passionate. I'm watching these things. And sometimes parents and adults, we don't even realize you're doing it. Like when your child comes to you to say how they didn't like when you did something, instead of shutting them down or telling them to be quiet, listen to them, because when you shut them down, what you're programming in your child is what you how you feel doesn't matter, and how you feel is secondary. Like my feelings are bigger than yours. Other people matter more than you matter, because when you're expressing your displeasure and you're expressing how you didn't like something, I don't want to hear it. And so that chips away at their innocence. So I not only want to be a safe space for children, but also a reflection and a voice that can say, hey, I don't know if you realize, but every single interaction you have with your child, you are teaching them how to feel about themselves. You're teaching them how to see the world. And so I just want to be a mirror for parents and guardians so that we can raise children who are prepared for all the heck that the world will bring. Because once they become adults, the world worlds. And if we can give them proper tools and things, they'll be much happier in life. They'll get further and the world will be a better place. So that's why I do what I do. Long story long.
Yeah, I mean that's great. Thanks for sharing that. I mean, as you were talking to me, I was thinking I just started. So my background is a little bit. I have a daughter, Cecilia. She's 23. Has disabilities. Didn't know anything about it. Had to learn when she was born, and then I've had worked at a residential facility, mental health facility for adolescents. Well, actually, age 5 through 18. My gaming there was I learned how to play Magic the Gathering to connect with the older teen boys, just to have that, commonality, something we could do together to, put them at ease and be able to talk to them and, help them out. So I have that. And then now I'm working, co-facilitating DBT groups at the organization I work with. So getting into DBT and working on the mindfulness piece. And to me, the last couple months is just, when my daughter's over, trying to just be in the moment with her and not like, I mean, get so used to like if we're watching TV, you're on your phone playing a game at the same time you're watching TV. So trying to just realize, okay, let's just do one thing at a time and just,
Mm.
be in this moment fully and, being able to be present. So I mean, as you're talking, I think that's a huge part of it too for me at least is just when she's over and it's my time to be with her, I just need to I'm been working to try to like put the phone down if she so that way if she's we can talk to each other. I mean, how big of a thing do you think that is where we're just so used to doing many things at once and not being fully present for each other?
Yeah, I think it's very big, especially for children, because every single like as much as people say children are blessings, and I agree, children are responsibilities, I think, like bigger than blessings. And not saying they're not blessings, but they're responsibilities, because literally every single interaction that you have as an adult with a child, you are teaching them something. And it's weird because even though like my clubs, the gaming clubs are 45 minutes for a week, like one day a week. Now, some children, their parents enroll them in multiple clubs, so I see them multiple days out the week. But even that, like one day a week for 45 minutes, by the way, that interaction, I see how much like it means to them. So, and I'm like, for some of these children, it's their first time meeting me. Like some of them I've known for a minute now, but some I've known for like 3 seconds. And they crave adult attention and validation, like to the point where sometimes they will only talk to me. And so I have to actively like engage the group together because they crave that one-on-one adult attention, even though it's a gaming club with children. And so you would think that when there's more children in the club, that's why I've limited to 7 at a max. And even I'm thinking to make it even less than 7 because they like, let's say I'm talking, let's say, and everybody knows this. Like, if you're around 3 children and you acknowledge one child and you say, hey, that one child says, hey, my favorite color is pink. And then obviously my favorite color is pink. And then they'll say, oh, my favorite color is pink too. As soon as you connect with that one child, the next two will be like, well, I like pink too. And my dog's scarf is pink. And so even though your dog's scarf has absolutely nothing to do with this conversation, they will bring it up because they crave that individual attention. So I think, like, even if it's only 45 minutes once a week, and you just sit down, even if you're on the phone, because we're virtual, so we're playing video games, we're playing Roblox, but like, even if it's just 10 minutes a day, because 10 minutes a week is not enough time for your child, but even if it's just 10 minutes a day where it's just literally sit down, have a conversation with them and get to their level, it will open them up. And then another tip for like parents and guardians, because I don't have biological children, but like I am the oldest, like I said. So like with my siblings, I will take them on individual dates because they grew up as three. Like when you bring all the children together, it's hard to still get that one-on-one attention. I'll take them on individual dates, doing something just me and that child. Even if it's like, even if you don't have money, you can go to the park and just sit and relax. Or you can do something like really cool and go to the zoo that's like the drive-through zoo and get spit on by a camel, like what happened to me and my sister. And you build those memories. And then in the space where there's a bunch of children, you can still give them that undivided attention, but it's different. So you'll like name the child and say like, "Hey, Melissa, I don't have any Melissa, so I'll use that name. Hey, Melissa, I really love your pink bow." And then, "Oh, Katie, I see you have your dog over there. That's so nice." And so when I discovered specifically for all the children, but also those really shy ones, when you name them specifically, like even if you see them like raise their hand and then you say, "Oh, I see you, uh, um, Clarissa, raising your hand. Okay." Then they'll start to open up. So again, all that to say, I think is very important. Children need to know that you actually see them and you approve of them. Like you not only see them, but you value them and you see that they're cool or that they're awesome or that they're special or whatever the thing that they're craving. We as the safe adults, we need to be the ones pouring that into them. That's a whole nother conversation because there's other people out here who know also that children are craving this attention, who don't have good intentions. So us adults who are helping to protect children, we need to be really pouring it into them so that they know the difference between someone who is pouring into them and perhaps someone who is predatory and, doing another thing without going too deep. So yeah, that's my answer.
Yeah. 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 I mean, kids will seek out the attention in good or bad ways. So yeah, if we can model the good way and be that good attention for them, that's very important for sure.
Hmm.
How did you get to this? Did you have other non super fun jobs like this before this job, or how did you get to this?
Have I had non-fun job before? Yeah. Yeah, I sure have. So it's just interesting how this all played out. So I still work too, now as well, like a regular job as well during the day. And then but yeah, I worked in like sales and like tech sales. I hated it. Absolutely hated it. Um I've done like marketing. I've literally done like a little bit of everything. And actually when I quit my tech sales job, it was like when the pandemic happened. And I was like, I hate it here. So I made a career shift. And then I started working with quote unquote, I hate to use this word, but underprivileged quote unquote high school students. And I only say underprivileged quote unquote because on paper, you could say
Mhm.
underprivileged, but like those children, and I say children because to me, like you're a child until your frontal lobe has developed. Like I view myself as a child in terms of like what the world has to offer. But anyway, like those high school children, they are so resilient and so like beyond. And it made me see, okay, I can do something different. And I ended up leaving though, just because I moved, and kind of went back into the corporate space. And the thing that I really liked about the high schoolers was working with them, but I didn't really like that I had to teach them like stuff that like the program wanted them to learn. And granted, what the program wanted them to learn was good stuff, like time management, yada yada. But I wanted to teach them like the mental aspect, accountability, discipline, like leadership. So I was able to do that there. They let me do like an arts entrepreneurship workshop and like all these different things, and the children loved it. And so once I stopped working there, started working like regular job again, like a full-time job because I was part-time. I was like, I'm miserable again. Like I'm miserable. Something's got to change. And so I started working with my mom with our hair care line or whatever. And I started teaching classes. And so I started out
Mhm.
on out school teaching hair care classes. And then it kind of shifted. Then I like started teaching Zumba. I got like my Zumba cert, and I was just like wiggling through trying to find like what made sense to me. And then I used to play dress to impress with my siblings, and they would get so annoyed because I have something, I don't know what it is, but like I have like an obsessive personality. So I only want to play like one or two games. And so they're like, Yana, can we play something else? I'm like, no, please, let's play Dress to Impress. So my mom was like, why don't you try to do like a Dress to Impress club? And like maybe because you like playing it anyway, and like you want to keep children safe anyway. Why don't you try that? And I was like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Roblox? Like, really? So I tried it and I haven't looked back since. So sometimes your mom is right. So sometimes she's right. So, all that to say, it's been a lot of like trying this. People used to think I was scatterbrained because I've had so many businesses too. I tried drop shipping. Man, I tried crypto. I was selling NFTs. I made money with NFTs though, surprisingly, but I tried everything and nothing felt all the way right until the gaming clubs and until like because I got to see, oh, wait a minute, like I can play video games with children and I can teach them confidence at the same time. Like, wait a minute. And I learned the power of it. And now, like, when I see, like, okay, I'll just say this really quick. And I'll try not to tear up, but I always do for this particular story. I have this one student. This particular student has been with me since I started teaching Zumba, actually. And so, now this student is on the spectrum. And at first, when I started the gaming clubs, a student would barely even type in the chat, right? And so I started typing back in the chat, trying to engage this particular student. Then one day, it was just me and this student because I started later classes, to accommodate different schedules because it's all online. So there's kids from like all over the place. And so it was just me and this student. And mind you, I had had this student for months and never heard a peep. But just on occasion, and I noticed, like I said, like the chat started increasing, and they said, "Hey, hey, hi." And then they talked the whole club. And after that, I cried like a baby, like really bad. And then since that day, well, not it was incrementally, but like now that student who's on the spectrum to the point where when this particular student speaks, you can hear it. Now that student talks in every class. Like it doesn't matter who is there. And they went from being silent to now talking every single club to the point where like sometimes no one's talking, even I'm in the game, and that child is talking. So I've seen with my own eyes the power of gaming. And so that's where after that, after seeing that transformation, I dove headfirst because I'm like, oh yeah, if this child can go from literally like this child is on the spectrum, can go from not talking at all to now being the most talkative student in club, cracking jokes, laughing with other students, and cracking jokes on me. Like I knew I had something special there. And so I had to go all the way in. So that's how we ended up here today.
That's a great story. As you were talking about your journey to this spot, I was just reminded about how we ask, kids in high school, like, what are you gonna do for when you grow up or when you get out of high school? And I mean, for myself, I felt a lot of pressure to like pick it at that time and kind of, I'm 48. I mean, probably not exactly my age, but slightly older. I mean, when you got a job, you were in that job your whole life, so there was probably way more pressure at that time. But just like your story shows, like you're playing video games with kids for your job, part of your job. So it's like, I mean, there's stuff out there that you don't have to fit into that mold that we're taught or that presented to us. There are different ways, and I mean, I'm 48 and I still haven't completely figured out what I'm going to do for a living. You go down the path at
Fair.
work, then something else pops up and you're like, oh, let's should try that. So it's not, there's no way at that age you can figure out what you're going to do the rest of your life. I mean, it's just not possible, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. You don't even know who you are at
Mm,
that age, really.
that's for sure. Many parents feel overwhelmed trying to raise confident children in today's world. What's one simple shift they can make starting today?
Excuse me. The easiest thing you can do is let your child lead. So that's like the first step. So don't give them choice overload either. So when I say let them lead, it's like, okay, let's say you guys are gonna play a board game that you've never played before. The natural inclination for a parent or guardian in a child relationship is you as the parent, you open up the board, you open up the game package, you set the game up, you read them the instructions, and then you play. And there's no frustration. The child's natural inclination is to wait for you to finish setting up, and to take direction and to do what you say, and then on occasion not. And then, the game does, what happens in games. But what you can do instead is let your child set the game up. Even if they do it wrong, like, so what? You can adjust. It's a game, it doesn't matter. You let them open the game, you let them set the game up for you. You let them read the instructions, and let them read it too, like, especially if they're younger, you're still practicing, like, don't interrupt. But, as they get older, you should, like, hey, are you sure that's what you said? Are you sure? Because once you've instilled that first layer of confidence in them, then you have to, like, kind of like challenge it sometimes, because in the real world, that's what's going to happen. But it gives them a safe place to practice. So the first thing is, though, let them read the instructions, let them be in charge. They'll say, okay, you're gonna be this role, you're the banker, you're the this, you're the that, and then you actually listen to them and you go with their rules in the game. Another way you can do it, let's say it's not a board game, something simple like, hey, should we go to, I don't know, what's a restaurant that's quick? Should we go to, I don't know, Chick-fil-A or Taco Bell? I don't know. Let them decide. Okay, let's go Chick-fil-A. Okay, we'll do it. And so just giving them the opportunity to lead you will allow them to practice. It'll allow them to practice leadership. And it's one of those things where it doesn't take much to teach children. Like, just remember also, this is my other thing, every single interaction you have with, near, or in front of your child is an opportunity to teach them, and they're learning. So every time you choose to respond instead of react, you are showing your child that there's another way to do things. Every time you shrink and compromise how you feel about something for the sake of whatever, you're also teaching your child how to do that. So outside of like the practical, like, okay, do that, the other side of it is monitor your own self, because the best thing you can be for your child is the best you. So if you feel good about yourself, you're confident, you're emotionally intelligent, and you're emotionally stable, that will translate to your child. But if you're not those things, that will also translate. So outside of letting them lead and, listening to them and all the obvious things, also take a real good look in the mirror of how you act in front of them, near them, and around them, because every single thing you do, you are showing them how to behave and how they should behave, how to treat others, and then how they should be treated as well.
Yeah, that's all great stuff. What's your vision for the laptop life coach, and where is the movement going next?
Well, after these regular clubs get filled up, I want to start doing well, I have like a whole ecosystem, so I would like people to try the other things too, like workbooks, because reading is important. Like literacy is becoming more of a thing with children right now. So I would like that. And then just, hopefully I can just inspire more children, inspire more families, and just grow the brand, and have in-person retreats on occasion. Now I think that would be so cool. Like I said, the other parts of the ecosystem, like I have a children's web series that one of the children from my clubs challenged me to make. She asked me to make 100 episodes. I'm on episode 11. So I don't know when the 100's coming, but because it's a lot. But I have like a workbook that goes along with that. So I would just want people to get funneled through the clubs and then make their way through to the ecosystem, because it takes, like, the clubs are great, but what happens when they're not in club? You can still utilize the coaching services at any time, through the other options as well. Like I have a membership and courses and like all the things to help. So yeah, that's the
Yeah,
goal.
there you go. What is one tip you can share to help the listeners be more inclusive today? So just something anybody can start doing today to be more inclusive.
Start being more inclusive. Um, okay. I would say just be a welcoming space. There's enough bullies out there. We don't need any more mean people in the world. We really don't. So like the next time you are at the cash register, and just say something to the cashier like, "Hey, how's your day going?" Even if they're rude to you, like, so what? Like they might have had a bad day. Their feet might be hurting. They might be ready to go. Like their phone bill might be off. We don't know what's going on in other people's lives. So I would just say, like, treat people kindly, regardless of how they treat you. And that doesn't mean to be a doormat. Don't misunderstand me. It doesn't
Mhm.
mean to allow people to disrespect you and keep them in your life and tolerate nonsense. Never that. I would never say that. And though, I would just say be kind to people regardless, because you don't know what's going on in other people's lives. And a lot of times we wear other people's pain because they were mean to us, or because they didn't hold the door. Like maybe they really had to use the bathroom and they couldn't hold the door open for you because they had to go, or someone's on the road driving fast. Maybe their wife is giving birth. Like you don't know what the situation is. So don't wear other people's burdens as your own personal, like, pain complex. Just let people be them, and be kind to everyone. Be kind to the person that's the janitor outside that's sweeping the road or whatever. Be kind to the cashier. Be kind to your boss, even if they're being a jerk. Be kind to yourself as well. Be graceful to yourself. And the more graceful and gentle you are with yourself, the more graceful and gentle you'll be with everyone else around you as well. So that's what
Yeah,
I would say.
there you go. Thank you. Where's the best place for everybody to connect with you?
So yeah, the laptoplifecoach.com, you can send an email. That's probably easiest. Or like Instagram DM. Oh, actually, and if you have a question and you want me to make a video about it, like you can comment on a YouTube video, and then I can make a video response answering. Because if you have a question, chances are someone else has the same question. They might just not, be ready to ask just yet. So yeah,
Yeah,
Instagram, YouTube, all the things.
awesome. Ready for the last question?
I sure am.
Do you like spam lunch meat? Yes or no?
Okay. You know what? This is gonna be crazy. In ramen, yes. My mom hooks it up in ramen.
There you go. I live near Austin, Minnesota, where they make spam and where the spam museum is located. So I've been asking everybody just to see what their answers are. It's kind of fun for me to see how they react. So
The Spam
usually it's pretty
Museum?
fun. Spam museum, yeah.
Wow, all right now.
Yeah, and people come out. It's the town is about like 28,000, and they get over 100,000 people to the town to visit it. So a lot of people want to see the spam museum. Yeah,
Wow, I had no idea. I might have to, if I'm ever in Minnesota, I'll
there
definitely
you
go to
go.
the Spam Museum.
And then there's somebody walking around with a little tray with spamples on it, like a chunk of spam with a pretzel stick in it. You can try different flavors and stuff.
I thought there was only one flavor of Spam, so I learned
Oh
something
no,
new
no, no,
today.
no. There's many. I mean, when I was younger, there was probably just the one. Now they have all different kinds. They have some for different different countries and stuff for different flavors. So yeah, yeah.
Excuse me. Oh, wow. Well, hey, good to know.
Well, thank you so
That's
much for being on
funny.
the show today.
Well, thank you so much for having me. This was wonderful.
To those listening, thank you for allowing me to be part of your journey. It is truly an honor. Please join the podcast newsletter by clicking on the link in the episode description to keep up with the latest episodes. Together, we can make the world more inclusive. Until next time, stay empowered and be a champion for inclusion.